What advice would you give to fathers during labour?
Bring your snacks. I got away with a lot because I was very good at sports. But you know what? You see, when they get too... Stop nursing now, my guy. Just leave me and my missus alone. You'll be sleeping and we'll be sleeping and you just go through that panic of just wake up. Because I'm very, zero tolerance. Tonight, now. I'm a drill sergeant. Zero tolerance. Your boys. This is what is happening here, don't. Someone here, you may see like someone on an electric scooter dressed up. 99% chance this person is just dressed like that. In the UK, it's 99% chance they're coming for you, my guy. So, some people are not going to like this.
Yeah.
Fine, I understand.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Raising Humans. Today we have my good friend Jermaine. He lives in Dubai. He is a father of 2 boys, happily married, and he's a master trainer as well. So in the health and fitness industry. Welcome, Jermaine, to the show.
Thank you.
We've already had a long discussion already, so we're just going to get into it. We were just talking about having 2 boys. You've got 2 boys, and I said, look, the day you get girls, that's going to be a game changer.
I have 2 boys, 1 and 4.
Yep.
And I guess having 2 boys is different because I guess you look at your journey as a man and you think, look, to be honest, how can I give them a better, even if it's 0.1% journey than what I had? And I guess that's the ultimate goal for me. And automatically I'm going to be a role model for them. So again, it gives me an opportunity to learn as a person and become a better person. So I think it's a blessing. And I have friends also who have girls, and I see sometimes when they're sitting on their lap, I mean, I'm very lovey with my boys. Yeah. But I guess with girls, I don't know what that feels like, but it looks very, princessy. Yeah. It definitely looks like it brings the soft side out of a man a lot more than it would do a son. Because again,
I think as a father, you know what challenges your kids are going to face as a man when they're older.
Correct.
So that's always for me, my boys, that's in my mind where I know that it's not as easy. It can be quite challenging for a man when it comes to your emotions and controlling them properly and what's expected. And I know those challenges are coming. And if I feel if I'm too soft with them, they're not going to be ready. They're going to get eaten up.
Correct.
And that's my issue. And I had 2 boys and then I had the girl. And I said, look, I'm going to treat her the same. Like, I want to make sure that she's ready. Like, if anything ever happens, she'll be in a position where she can look after herself. She's got that mental resilience there. Like, even if there's no one there, whatever happens, she's got the mental resilience to take care of herself and whoever is under her care if she needs to. I don't want, there's this quote I've used before. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Exactly.
And what that means is that you'd rather have the skills and never needing it than you need the skills. You direly need it, but you're in a position where I don't know what I'm doing now. Now you got to learn on the spot.
No, of course.
But
I think for all kids as well, sorry to cut you, but what it made me think about my sister. One of my sisters, she has 2 girls.
Okay.
Right. And I've always stressed about extracurricular activities, both. And the one important one that is, especially for a confidence boost, because school brings a lot of pressures growing up as a child. Things have changed, especially in the UK, but self-defense. It's inevitable that they're going to get into fights or confrontations or whatever. So it's like you don't want your child to be maybe that child who feels like they have to prove themselves because they're going to get into unnecessary situations. I mean, things are inevitable, but you don't want them to have to be that person who, and the school teacher's always calling you, and it has a lot of pressures in itself. So I think, look, especially with girls, having that self-defense, having that confidence, giving them, and look, for a parent, it also makes you, it gives you a lot of time yourself because they're going to find a passion, they're going to find confidence, they're going to find discipline. So my niece, she actually does jiu-jitsu. She's 4 years old, same as my son. And I think that's one of the...
She's 4. She's doing jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
Wicked.
So I think that's one of the best skills or the best gifts that you can position your child for growing up. I think for me, my first love was football as a youngster, as a child, as a boy. But I think self-defense is very key, because it transfers into a life skill as well as a passion, growing up. And as you know, the kids these days, it's like you got to keep them busy. That's the
Yeah.
best thing. Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
keep them
Discipline for
busy.
the boys
Oh no,
and
no,
the girls
for sure.
is important.
100%.
So let's get started from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about. Tell me about your childhood,
Wow,
Jermaine. Tell me
Wow.
wherever you want to start, wherever you want to go. Let's keep it cash.
the best.
Yeah.
You know, childhood for me was just about feeling free. You know, I mean, born and raised in London. I think those times, I think we had a very good system when it comes to, I mean, growing up, especially when I'm referring to like youth clubs. I mean,
Did you go to a lot of youth clubs when you were
exactly?
younger?
So from London, Central London, Paddington, Edgware Road, Marylebone
Yeah.
area, exactly. So we had about at least 5-10 options that we could have gone to. And look, there was a lot of trust between the parents and I want to call it the street or the system. Let's call it the system.
Okay.
When I refer to the system, I'm talking in regards to the options that extracurricular activities or, Mom, I'm going to the youth club. Okay, no problem. You know, it's fine. Or mum would make an effort, especially sometimes you're gonna have single parents out there who have to work. So what other system, what other outlet, what can they have to help their situation?
Yeah.
You know, they're only one person. And so having an extra system like a youth club, you know, that they can trust, you know, that will also help develop their child is a great, it's a great outlet. And I think there's less of that now. And that was one of the things that initiated my move here to Dubai. But going back to my childhood, so football being my passion, run outs.
How was you as a student in school? So
Do you
let's
know
say
what?
I meet Jermaine year 7. What am I looking at here?
You know my thing was?
Go on.
I got away with a lot because I was very good at sports. So it seemed like we could get away with a lot because we represented the school and the borough, etc., and the district because we was good at sports. So they needed that. They needed us.
Yeah.
So
you got
it was
away
like,
with things.
I think that helped also being popular. I had an older sibling.
Yeah. How many siblings do you have?
I have 2 sisters, my brother, then me.
Okay.
So when I went into secondary school, my sisters went to girls' schools. My brother and I went to a mixed school. So by the time I went into year 7, I was all right. My brother had already paved the way for me.
What year was he in?
He was 2 years old. He was in year 9.
Yeah, so don't mess with me. I'm going to call my brother on you.
He's all right. You mess with me. I'm going to call my brother. It was good in school. So I was nice when I got into school. Again, look, sport being a big passion for me. I mean, I think I led with that. So you got to kind of feel like the cool guy, especially having an older sibling and good at sports, which was good.
What challenges did you feel you had in school? Was there anything that you're worried about when you were at school, or it was just easy?
I think it was, look, especially the early years, it was just free.
It's fun.
Yeah, it was just free and fun. I don't remember having that much challenges, to be honest. It was nice. I mean, it was nice after school. I think, look, there was some inevitable challenges, but I think they came later on in school when people feel like they have, going for a change. Because look, really, puberty and all these things are still kicking in early doors. So you're still coming off that primary school tech away. It's still okay kind of thing. And then when you start getting older, people start to make friends like outdoors, like outside, etc. So, I mean, I think...
What was your relationship with like academics in school?
My relationship with academics, PE and maths, count me in. Anything other than that, of course. Maths and PE was my things. But other than that, no. Shakespeare, all this literature, dropped me out. Biology, of course. So it's like, I mean...
Whatever you had a passion in, all the subject resonated with that.
Exactly. Which leads me to what I am in now. Like, maths is a great thing for me. And obviously...
How do you use maths today?
How do I use maths today when doing my programs?
Yeah.
And obviously money.
Yeah.
You know,
financial literacy.
Yeah. Financial literacy was always pretty strong, to be honest. Everything other than that, I didn't really show too much interest in.
Was it football your main thing in school?
100%. Yeah. To be honest, it was football, but I also was just obsessed with every sport. Trampoline and volleyball. So I represented Westminster for volleyball.
No way.
Even played a bit of cricket as well. So most sports is what helped me thrive.
Yeah.
To be honest. Still to this day, I participate in most sports. So I think
if you could go back to school, what would you do differently?
If I could go back to school...
Secondary school.
Oh, no. Look, one thing is, it's languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, languages.
What languages in English or languages in French, Spanish?
Languages. I was good at French,
Okay.
and I think I spoke like my percentage that I was speaking of it grew very quickly. It was natural, and then obviously not speaking it. I mean, language is a look. Being from London, diverse city, even as well as Dubai, is very key to have a good communication skills and bilingual. It's very good when it comes to business, especially as well. So having that tool, only being an English speaker, yeah, sometimes I wish
limits you. Yeah,
I feel limited sometimes. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. School. Yeah. Did you go college, uni?
I went college.
Yeah?
I done a scholarship in Stanmore College. It was again football related.
Okay.
Again, that was, I think, the beginning of me not only but becoming independent. I picked my own college. I picked my first job.
You know, all these discussions you had, did you like speak to your mom about it? Like, this is what I want to do. What do you think?
Yeah, but it was more so, this is what I want to do.
This is what I'm doing.
This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, being the youngest of four, I feel like I didn't get the last born treatment like it says on paper.
Well, how is the last born meant to be treated?
Exactly, given everything, blah blah blah. But I think rather by then, I think my mom must have been exhausted.
She was tired, man.
She was
you know
tired.
what?
So listen,
You're just there.
Just take that. To be honest, so the benefits of that is I had older siblings to learn from. You know, and I used to hang around my brother and his friends. So I feel like I was very advanced and started things a lot earlier. So like I used to go to clubs when I was like maybe 16 with my brother's passport.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's like these things. And why I'm explaining it how I am, because things that I done early, I don't yearn for as an adult. And I cut it very early because I'd started early. And obviously there's personality traits as well. So I think, look, being a younger sibling, I think has its pros.
You know, in school and that age, were there any, you know, like I remember growing up, there was a lot of people were trying to tempt me with like drugs and these kind of things. In London, the way you grew up, do you see a lot of that happening?
Yes.
And how did you resist?
I think the sport is the extracurricular activity.
That was it for you. Did you think mentally? Did you think that if I did this is going to take
I think that it limited my exposure to it. It even limited the exposure to it because I think I was so obsessed with sports and my energy was naturally a very high energetic child. So I think I was literally just in a sporting world. I was just I was in a whirlwind of sport. Honestly, go-karting, whatever it was. And the youth club really helped. And one of our still to this day, I go and see him. One of our football coaches. And he was a big role model, male figure in the community. Okay. You need that. And the thing is, like, especially in the UK, I think sometimes you lack that now. You lack that because of now the lack of resources that are given by the government for people to be able to run those things. Now it also has an impact on the male figures or the role models within the community because now they are limited with their resources to be able to actually platform themselves to be able to invite kids to certain things. Yeah. But
so you had a role model there, someone that
it was key.
Looked out for you.
It was key, and look, only now I realize how pivotal that was. You know, I mean, that it could have gone left or right just by having that and not having that. So, I mean, I'm very, very, very grateful for that. Honestly.
What was the journey after college?
The journey after college was employment, money.
What was your first job?
Primark Oxford Street.
No way.
Yeah. That was my first job. And look, I'm so grateful for that job. Why? Because it was hustle and bustle. I'm already from...
What made you want to get a job straight away?
You
wanted your own income or...
Of course, definitely wanted my own income. But you know, the excitement of wanting to have an NI card. You know, these things that I'm really waiting for my nationality. You know, so those things...
What did you spend on your first paycheck?
What did I spend
Can you remember?
Probably trainers. I was into trainers and hats.
Really?
Yeah, trainers, hats, because I told you I like to go clubbing from early. So even under 18s clubs, I had to make sure I got the freshest garment. I had to make sure I got the freshest. So clothes, innocent, you know, like football boots, all these things.
Do you love your trainers?
Yeah, I love my
Yeah.
trainers. I mean, I remember I saved up so long to try and get an England kit one time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got your name on the back.
No, you know what it is? I got a funny story. I'm a
Go on.
United fan. Being
Yeah.
from London, I'm a United fan.
All right.
So not having, I had to think of what player can I, look, my friends still laugh at me to this day. What player has one number and the smallest surname? So I got Louis Saha.
No way.
4 letters, one
What is it?
number.
A couple of pounds per
A
letter.
couple of pounds. Lily White's, Piccadilly Circus, went there, got my shirt, Man United, long sleeve. I felt like a man. Those were the days. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So
What-
football from morning till night.
Yeah.
Main thing. And then obviously with college, I just played football and then starting my job. Then I went so I worked in retail quite a lot. Then it wasn't probably until like 2 years after, then I got my first actual fitness role, to be honest. And that was at LA Fitness. I started as a receptionist. I actually started as a member, friend actually, who got the job from school. So he didn't come to the same college as me. He went to school. They got him the job. I went as a member. The manager said, does your friend want to roll fitness? Does your friend want to roll as a receptionist? So I got a role as a receptionist and then done my qualifications, and then my fitness journey started from there.
That's where the
LA
journey
Fitness.
began.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thankful for that, to be honest. And I think that was just naturally by being a people's person. I mean, my communication, like I think sports really helped that. And that's why I really, really home in on the extracurricular activities, because it gives kids so much.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I've said this before as well. Probably, especially in Dubai, you're probably one of the most positive people I've ever met. Yeah, like anyone that speaks, if I speak about you, they'll know that, yeah, you know what, Jermaine's like the guy that's always, like, we play football
I
together
appreciate it, bro.
every week. And even though sometimes you've got the worst team,
Yes. Yeah, I'm positive
you're
about it.
always positive, and usually that gives you guys the edge.
Exactly.
Even if on paper it looks like you guys should have lost, most of the time you win. So I think people person is probably the best thing. And this is something like I say to the kids as well. It's very important for you to make sure that you try to be as social as possible.
Of course.
So I remember when I was younger, up until probably 18, 19, I used to go shopping with my mate. And this is embarrassing to say now, but if I want to get some trainers, I'll say, yo, can you go tell her to get me a different... I wouldn't talk.
I'm with you.
And I'm like, now I'm thinking about it and I'm just like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, no, of
Like,
course.
but there'll be people and adults like, especially like with COVID,
Yeah.
people just don't want to talk. They want to do everything online on
Correct.
WhatsApp.
It's
But
true.
being sociable, it's a game changer.
It
Like
is.
even especially with the kids, when they see my friends and family, I'll make sure that they're shaking hands with people,
Yeah.
asking
I
if
see
they're
that.
okay, and these kind of things. And even though it might initially make them uncomfortable, over time, it shows them that, look, you need to be a sociable person.
Yes, correct.
In this world, we have to live with other people.
It's true.
And I think that's probably, do you think that's come naturally to you, or do you feel like you had to learn that?
Do you know what? I think as far as I can only think, because being a team player, I think I like, even like when training and working out, I really enjoy like the buzz of bouncing off other people. So I think, like, again, I always go back to sport, extracurricular activities, etc. These things naturally, I think, give you these qualities. You know, there are so many qualities that you do get like as a child, not knowing that you're going to carry this into your adulthood. So I think I learned it subconsciously as a child through my journey, which has made it the person who I am today. And to be honest, when I look back on school and I see maybe some people that were probably a little bit more timid, a bit more introverted, you know, I mean, it makes me think, you know what, I wasn't the odd person out. I wasn't, you know, sometimes you can be seen as loud, you know, and I think it's just the energy, to be honest. And I think it really can carry you, especially in Dubai, like into social networks, into good circles, you know, just having that confidence to speak to people. I think it's very important.
That's there's a guy called Dan Pena, and he's like this really famous multimillionaire, and he goes, increase your network, you'll increase your net worth.
Correct.
And it's just about talking to people, getting into the right circles, and just being a sociable person will help you in whatever business you're in. Any job you'll ever have, most 80% will just be, if you're able to deal with people appropriately, then you'll be fine. So right now I'm listening to this podcast on Steve Jobs, and he was just talking about when he got fired from Apple, the biggest things he learned from the two companies he started up, which was this company called Next and Pixar, was people skills. That's it. And once he learned people skills and learned how to communicate his message across appropriately, then he went back to Apple. If that didn't happen, he wouldn't be who he was today, like the person. And
Of course.
it just relates everything back to people skills.
Mhm.
All right, so let's move on. So you get married,
Mhm.
alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
and you realize that you're going to be a dad now.
Mhm.
What was the first thing that went through your head?
Look,
Oh.
this. Okay, yeah. COVID didn't, because look, my son's so it's around the COVID times also as well. So when I found out I was going to be a dad, alhamdulillah, I was very excited because it's always been one of my things to give back, and giving back, I don't think, you don't get more exposure or the best practice than being a parent. That is, I think, the epitome of giving back, because now you're a human and now you're responsible for raising another one at least. So that was something I was always excited about.
Even before,
yeah,
like when you're younger,
growing up,
you
I was
wanted
always
kids.
excited about having kids and always very passionate about it also too. So when I found out I was having my first child, I was over the moon. I was so excited about it.
What preparation? Did you do any preparations at the time?
Do listen to me. My missus, she is so want to see ABC the whole journey. For me, so reading books, etc.
Roadmap.
Please read it. She wants to see the roadmap.
Did you go any classes?
Exactly. So I got invited to it. To be honest, me, I'm going there blind. Like, I am very optimistic, and I think, look, you're not going to get this perfect. I've always been a practical person, as you've heard. So, of course, more so learning on the job on most of the things. I did read a few chapters, etc., of what she threw at me, and I think it was more, I didn't value it until more later on.
Yeah. It looks like you guys both had a good mix where someone's like very prepared and you're just, I'm ready. Like whatever happens, I'll get you through it.
Very
and
optimistic.
then together, I think you handle the challenge.
Exactly. I think, look, only later on you realize, like, look, you need a bit of that too. So, the
preparation, you mean?
You need a bit of that preparation.
What made you realize that? Was there anything, like a specific story that comes to mind where I should have been a bit more prepared?
When it comes to labor, as in what to do, etc. I mean, you need to know the signs, because look, they're going to be in a different headspace when they're actually in labor. So you kind of need to be on the board.
Were you ready? Like, did you know what to expect?
Did I know what to expect? Yeah. I did know what to, like, through the reading. I think I read enough where, I mean, at the same time, I probably winged it a little bit. But yeah, more time, I mean, alhamdulillah, I was fine. I mean, I think we handled it well. Again, it was during COVID time. So the main, I think, concerns were, is the dad going to be allowed in at the time? And I think those were the main unexpected. Yeah, because at the time, they wasn't allowing the fathers to come in until mum was maybe 5, 6, 8 centimeters dilated.
Okay. So you just waiting
so
around.
that was the concerns. But yeah, it worked out in the end. I mean, was in hospital for 5 days, to be honest. So it turned out different.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time. But I was able to stay through the whole time. So I'm very grateful for that. Then my son came.
What advice would you give to fathers during labor? First, let's say I'm a first dad, first child. I'm in the labor room. What advice are you giving me?
Bring your snacks. Don't forget your snacks, mate, and your earplugs. No. Be very supportive. Know what self-talk is about when it comes to calming your wife down, etc. Just be very supportive. And the main thing is the aftercare. Main thing is the aftercare for women, especially for the first child, because it's life-changing.
When you've held your son in your arms for the first time, what thoughts were going through your head?
Nothing out of this world. Nothing can compare to that.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's honestly like looking into your child's eyes for the first time, and those first few moments is really soothing for the soul. Literally, there's nothing like you felt like it before. So
did you start stressing at that time, or you just in it?
No, you're just in it. You're just in it, and I think it literally calms you down. Literally, it does literally soothe you, and you just feel so at peace. I mean, that's definitely how I felt, for sure. So I think parenting definitely gives you that. It brings out that softer side to you as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
how was the first month for you?
Tiring.
Yeah.
I remember. I think even my missus tells me to this day, where it's like, for example, you'll be sleeping and we'll be sleeping, and you just go through that panic of just wake up, and you think something's happened, like the door closed or something like that. But I don't know if it's you go into that because it's like it's your child now, it's your responsibility. So you're so like, I remember sleeping, and because of the lack of sleep, going through that thought, oh, it's the baby, okay, or something like that. I think we just she tells me that she remembers me going through certain times of just waking up like randomly in the middle of the night. So yeah, no, of course.
So I remember, I think the situation was quite similar because my wife had a C-section as well.
Right.
But one of the things we have, I'm not sure if you're familiar, in the Asian community, when a wife has a baby, she'll usually go to her mum's for a while.
Yep.
There for like the first month or so.
Yep.
So it makes it a bit more easier.
Yeah.
For me anyway, it was a bit more easier because she's recovering and she's got all that help. She feels like she's in a comfortable space, and then when she comes back, but then the second child we were in COVID.
Okay.
Same situation, C-section, all that.
Right. Yes.
But and but it was a bit different because you already know what to expect.
Yep.
You know how to do nappies
agree.
and that kind of stuff. But the first time I remember for Isa, I was awake at like 2 a.m. changing this guy's nappy, and in my mind I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I would never thought I'd be changing someone's nappy at this time, and I'm like, what? Now I'm an expert. I can get it done. Like eyes closed, easy. But what were the things that you had to get used to?
To be honest, do you know what it is? Look, my first son, to be honest, it's the nursing. So the nursing, my son, we wanted to do the 2 years. Even my second son now, we're still going through the 2 years. But you know what? You see, when they get too... Stop nursing now, my guy. Just leave me and my missus alone. Like, go away now. So those are some funny things. Early doors. Yeah, just like someone always has to kind of be there, to be honest. Yeah, but I think the nursing one was a funny one, to be honest. Yeah, to be honest. Because you have to realize now that it's not just you and your missus anymore. You know, like when two become...
Got another guy in your space, man.
Honestly, imagine.
Yeah, you're from number 1 to 2. Now you're priority number 3, man. You're just there.
But that what that does then again, it starts to test your partnership. And that's the next stage. Parenting is because of the way it affects the relationship. Through parenting, that tests the waters, because you can just be so relaxed, you and your missus, blah, blah, blah. But now you really have to strategically do things as a parent. As a parent, you have to make time, you have to plan time, you have to, So
I think the first couple of years there was nothing like that. For us as well, it's just whatever the kids wanted.
Exactly.
We're there, and then they're barely sleeping, and then we're going to sleep straight after that.
So it takes a back burner. The relationship focus takes a back burner.
Yeah.
And really it's you two who have to... You're making the house. It's your partnership that is the top of the pyramid.
Should be,
So it's like when that gets broken down, you see,
everything else falls.
It affects. It affects.
I think in our mind, we thought that we just got to make sure the kids are okay.
Yeah.
But we don't realize that. What about everything else? Do you understand? Because if you're not on the same page about how we want to raise the kids, or we've not had a proper discussion. I think now that the kids are a bit older, we've got more time. So let's say, for example, they sleep at 7. So from 7 till about 10, 11, we've got time. The kids are usually sleeping through. We can have talks, whatever's happening throughout the day, having discussions about parenting, wherever it might be. We're at that stage now. But I think when the kids were a bit younger, we were just focusing on what fire are we putting out today, and that's it. Putting out fires there, and then sleep.
Exactly.
Then start again.
Exactly. And that's what exactly you spot on. It's what fires are we putting out today? That's and it. Really, we should be paving and building, with each other for the kids.
I think that's where it comes back to when you were talking about preparation. I think that there was a brother that came to me last week, and he's just talking about, look, I'm looking to get married now.
Wow.
And he doesn't have someone in mind. He's going to be looking around and, whatever way he's going to try to find someone. But when I'm sitting and meeting someone, what questions should I be asking when it comes to parenting? So he was just saying that, like, what things do I have to ask? And I said, look, I didn't even think about that. The way that I thought about it is that if I had a daughter like my wife, then I'd be happy. And I said, for my wife, I said, if you're happy to have a son like me, then you should be. And that was it. But now I think we can have a more nuanced discussion about what is our parenting methodologies, what do we want to do, are we working towards the same goal? And I think these are important questions that I didn't ask at the time. And I think like when my sons grow up and they're looking for a spouse,
that's what you advise them.
Yeah, these are the things that I'll be thinking about, is to have that discussion. 100%. There's nothing wrong having that discussion to make sure you're on the same page. I think they're important. And I feel like sometimes people shy away from that. But
I agree.
After, like, obviously love is important, but after all that dies down, you need to look at the foundations. You're on the same page.
I think that's what builds the love. We look at love the wrong
Watching
way
too many
round.
Disney movies, man.
It's the Disney that sport. They sport the whole thing. It's not like
Bro, I'm
that.
telling you,
Ooh, struck. No,
bro, my wife loves Aladdin,
honestly.
and that's all she goes on about. I said, look, this is
100%.
not Aladdin. And when she was
Honestly.
crying, when we
Yeah.
moved from Leicester to Dubai,
Okay.
she said, oh, we're moving now away from my family. I said, look, you wanted me to be Aladdin.
Yeah.
This is my magic carpet. We're
Exactly.
going to Dubai. But yeah, it's, you know what? On a serious note, though, sometimes you watch a lot of movies, and sometimes it gets in your head subconsciously. This is how it should be.
The narrative.
But reality is sometimes, like you were just saying, that marriage isn't, the love is what we think of love might be a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think then love is
What do I think love is?
when it comes to marriage?
When it comes to marriage, I believe, look, you have to be, first of all, I think self-love and self-respect has to come first. And I also think you have to have a good ability. I want to use the word compromise, yeah. But I think once you know your direction and you understand the other person's, that's when you have to have a good balance of the compromise between the two of you.
Give
I
and
think,
take.
yeah, it has to be give and take. I think especially when going from being two to starting a family, I think the pressures I think the dimensions change because of a lot of the pressure that comes on the mother. It changes a lot for the mother, fine. And there's also a pressure that comes on the father. But it's like, I don't think that you should measure them as it's more on the mum or more on the father. I don't think you should measure them because I think
Interesting,
everyone's
yeah.
going through their own experience. It sounds, some people are not going to like this.
Yeah.
Fine, I understand.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's relative.
Yeah,
Everyone's resilient level and what it's different, you know, and everybody's upbringing, what they was exposed to is also going to impact their approach, challenge, resilient capacity to be able to take and whatever.
So if your sons come to you one day and say, look, Dad, I'm looking to get married. I've not found anyone yet, but I'm going to start looking. Tell me a few things. What am I looking for?
You're looking for a person of understanding. Yeah, you have to first understand yourself, and then you have to find someone that can have the ability to understand you as a person. You also have to have that ability to understand someone else. So first of all, I think you've got to understand yourself, and you've got to understand how much you're willing to, push.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's definitely got to have, more similarities than people think. You got to have a lot more similarities than you think. You got to understand also the family of your spouse. When you understand them, then you'll understand what to expect. And I don't think you should really have any surprises. You know, you should really try and do your research as much as possible to minimize any sort of
surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because there's people go through trauma, especially nowadays, and people are we're in the age of depression, anxiety, blah. Look, for me personally, these things do exist, but I think a lot of it is life experiences. Things happen in life. Of course, the differences lie in between how people respond to them and what support network they have around them. You know, and I think as a parent, support network is key. They say it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
It's a big one. You know, it does, because a lot of pressures, again, come on a relationship to sustain that relationship in a healthy manner. I think that support network is key. Learning, I think that's one of the things I've definitely learned. And look, you can't, you can rely on people only so much. You know, you have to, you have to take some accountability yourself.
I think accountability
to hold that
is
relationship.
key.
Yes, it's key.
I think that being a teacher as well, I find that one of the skills that children lack the most today is accountability. They want to, and even adults, to be fair, anything that happens to them, it's always someone else's fault. And I've found that true success comes when you start taking accountability,
100%.
even if it's extreme. So even if, let's say, 90% wasn't your fault, you need to find something that you can tie down saying, look, I could have done this better. And I say this to the kids, to my sons as well, is that Issa's understanding now, Adam's not that age yet, but to hold yourself accountable always. Why? because then it means that the reason why something happened is because it's something you did or didn't do.
100%.
If you say that this happened and I had nothing to do with it, you're just leaving yourself open for that same thing to happen again.
I think there's also another time. I totally agree exactly with what you're saying. And I think sometimes why people shy away from it is because the perspective, which I think is really key on accountability. If somebody says accountability, there's ways you can look at it. Like, for example, in fitness, I could say I am an accountability coach because I am going to support you to keep you in line towards achieving your fitness goal. Accountability also has to do with you empowering yourself. So see accountability as you taking control, so you have the power. So if you are not taking accountability, you're giving the power and control to an external source, whether it be someone or something. So you're taking the power away from yourself. Like you're self-sabotaging yourself by not taking accountability. So take accountability and you're gonna be more in control. And you can try and steer how you want this to go. So I think that's key too.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I think did you find that there was a change when you had your first when your first son was already there, established?
Yeah.
Now you got number 3 coming, or the third boy now in the family. So there's you and your
2
son,
others.
and now you got 2 others. So from child 1 to 2, did you find any difference?
I was so happy that I have a sibling.
Yeah.
That's one of the key things, I think.
Yeah.
I had never, for my first or second son, had any preferences on gender. Whether I had a son first or son or daughter second. I never had any preference. Main thing was health for me. Alhamdulillah, they both came out healthy. So the fact that when I found out I had a boy, I was over the moon.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's just like that sibling companionship.
Brothers.
Yeah. You know.
How was the youngest one?
1.
1, yeah.
He's 1.5.
Talk to me in a year.
It's crazy.
When they fight wrestling all over the house.
Already.
Already,
Already. But they're best friends and also fight.
Best friends, best enemies.
Best friends, best enemies. I love it. And I love seeing how early it's come.
Yeah.
You know, very
1 years old, he's not messing around.
Not messing around.
1 year old, he's barely walking and he's giving him a tough time.
Yeah, they wake each other up from sleep. If one's sleeping, the other one wakes up. If one's sleeping, touch, poke eyes, up the nose, all of that. So it's amazing to see that.
But you know why it's good? It helps with resilience.
100%.
When you're always arguing, fighting, you've got tough skin.
Yeah.
And I remember with my brothers, it was very similar, where you're always in arguments. So I found that when kids are either the only boy or single children, when they get to school, they have a tough time, you know, getting used to school because they're not used to someone being mean to you. Whereas before, you've been doing it since day. Yeah. Exactly. So it's good. But 100%. Brothers are good.
No, amazing. And again, look, it's me having that, I don't know, ease or peace of mind that, look, you're going to send 2 boys to school, so they're going to have each other's back in that sense. So, yeah, it's good. And they can maybe do other things together, like business, etc. So, it's amazing.
So, 2 boys, alhamdulillah.
What about you then, having a daughter, transitioning from gender?
Daughter was different. Daughter was different. Like, you know how to raise boys.
Yeah.
After the first one, you kind of get used to, you know what to expect, you know. Then second comes along and it's much of the same. I found the second one was a bit more like, I want to say crazy, but he's a bit more of it's a bit wild. Yeah.
Second boy, always a wild cat because they see, and they see their older brother or sibling walking. So now they want to walk earlier. Exactly. The appetite comes earlier.
Yeah.
Because it's close, it's in the house already.
Yeah. And now girl came and I was lost. Like, I didn't know what to do or what to expect. And even just little things like changing nappies, like, am I doing something differently? Am I not doing it properly?
Exactly, hygiene wise.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I'm just
what
like,
I'm thinking in my head.
Yeah, I'm like, am I doing this? Like for the boys, I'm going crazy.
Yeah,
and I don't care, man.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah. Come on. Exactly.
But then for the girl, it's just like, all right, cool. Mindful. So what am I doing here? Am I doing this right? My wife's here. Should I be doing it this way?
Yeah.
You know, but that's just like the start, and everything else emotionally, I think she'll be different. And I can tell that she's a lot softer.
Okay.
She's a lot more gentle than the boys. I think being around the boys is good for her because it's making her a little bit more rougher because they're picking her up and they're looking after her, to be fair, especially the oldest one. Looks after her a lot. And whenever we're out and about, we're sitting, he's always making sure he's around her. If she goes for a walksies, he's always like following her, holding her and bringing her back. You know, so I feel like he's becoming a good big brother, even though with his smaller brother, he's fighting all the time. With the girl, I think he knows that, look, she's a bit more gentle.
Right.
But it's different. Like you said, I think that it brings out a softer side of you. But then now I'm also thinking that I would want her to have a sister.
Wow.
Because having a girl having a brother is different. Boys can be silly and they're just going to tease her, and emotionally, I don't know whether they'll be there for her or not. Do you understand?
I understand.
And but with another sister, I know that they'll have each other's backs at that time. So
Inshallah.
Allah knows best, man, what the future holds. But I know that she's already got like nieces, and she's got cousin sisters, and there's people there.
Those interactions.
So, yeah, she's got that circle if she ever needs it when she gets older. An interesting point we were talking about before was that being a father, I think, puts a light on our own, I wouldn't say insecurities, but weaknesses as well. So I mentioned to you that for me, anger was a big issue for me. So I used to find myself, and as silly as it sounds, like when I'm hungry or sleep deprived, I tend to get triggered a lot quicker. And I realized that having a child has exemplified that a bit more. Like I'm a bit more conscious now, and I'm constantly trying to work harder. Like I've literally got on my phone a notepad of the days I've not shouted or I've not done anything.
Fantastic.
So it's been about a month, yeah.
Okay.
And by shouting, I don't mean I'm gonna flip my lid. It's just the fact that I don't want to shout at all. I think there's other ways to go about it, and what made it more visual to me is everything that I say to Isa. It doesn't take as much of an impact as what I'm doing. So if I'm flipping out on him, but I'm telling him not to shout at his brother, he's looking at, oh, this is how dad's acting. I'm going to be like that. Exactly. And he understands that at that young age. And whether right now he's mentally understands it, but subconsciously he's getting it. You know, and these are some of the things that I feel like I need to work on now more so than before. Do you feel like there's anything that you feel like you need to work on, or you're actively working on now as a dad? What are you trying to be better at?
Yeah, I guess that patience, because again, like I said, having boys, sometimes you feel like you're gonna be a bit too rough. But I tell you what, I am learning. I think obviously you got two parents, so the mother and the father's approach is gonna be different. And I think, look, the mother's approach is a lot more naturally softer. And what I'm learning is from my wife. Because I'm zero tolerance tonight, now, it's happening yesterday. So I'm learning actually from her, sometimes to actually communicate, as opposed to feel like I have to borderline discipline.
Drill sergeant. Yeah.
I'm a drill sergeant. Zero tolerance, your boys, this is what is happening. So I feel like sometimes I can afford to do that, but really, you can increase your parenting skills by communicating and using intellect, being intelligent about how you communicate, because they have rights too, you know, and they are kids. So you have to sometimes lower your expectations. I have that in some areas, like I expectations like they're a child, they're gonna do what children do. Like you have to expect this as a parent from a child. And there are certain things when you want to discipline your child, what techniques could be more effective?
What kind of things do you think you'd use? What do you currently use?
It's language. It's the language that you use as opposed to the way you say it. So sometimes you might say something, but they're not getting it. You have to use maybe a question to get an answer from them to create the understanding. So it's the communication between the parent and the child, having different techniques. And sometimes that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I learn that from my wife, that I am not possessing or as good as doing, you know, than what she is.
When you say language, it reminded me of this technique that I started to use with my kids. It's about like it's time for bed and they're just not going to bed. And I'm saying, look, let's
prime
go.
example.
You're good. Time for bed now.
Prime
and
example.
before I used to, you're going now. And then I later realized there's this technique that I use. I said, do you want to go bed now or do you want to go in 5 minutes? This is the question I'm giving them.
Exactly.
And I realized, I was just so shocked. I was like, that's so dumb. Like, how is he learning from that? Like, how is he actually listening? It's like, because as an adult, you think differently.
Of course.
And I think actually it works because, 5 minutes. And he's thinking, dad's giving me 5 minutes to chill. And then usually after 5, he's like, all right, let's go.
That's it.
Or do you want to brush your teeth now? Or do you want to do this first?
Yes.
I give him 2 options and he feels like he's got a choice. Whereas
I've learned that myself as well. The 2
really?
options. This one,
and it works a charm, man. It works a charm.
It works.
So these are the things I think for me, when I was younger, I've always learned that, like, I just need to be told. If someone's angry at me, that's it. I got to get it done.
It's the old school parenting.
And then
same for me.
And then for me now, I think subconsciously I tried that when they were younger, like just doing that face. Whereas and sometimes the thing is when you start there, when you start there, like you're doing that face or you're shouting, that is literally like level 10. If it doesn't work there, where are you going?
Exactly.
Do you understand? And what I've realized, and I've learned this in teaching as well, is that you just start from level 1, man. Just make it easy.
It's true.
But the kid will always know that there's a stage there that I don't want to get there. Do you understand? Let's start and ask and speak nicely. And I think one of the things that what brought it to light a little bit more for me was that how Easter sometimes was acting towards Adam, where he was sometimes shouting or getting angry. And I'm like, this kid is only around me always. So he's definitely just learned it from me. He's not learned from anyone else. And I think that really brought home more than ever that I need to change now, and I need to be more accountable to myself. Otherwise, it's going to be too late, and he's going to be like this when he's older.
Correct.
Alhamdulillah, now I've realized that over time, slowly, we're working on that. And he's getting a lot better. Okay. But it makes me realize that actually, you know, I don't want to pass on, because as a father you always think I'm going to pass on positives,
exactly,
but there'll be times where you may even pass on negatives.
It's true,
but we might not be aware of it,
and the level of how much you are actually impacting, how easy, like the smallest things you think of that they are picking up. So
do you find that the kids are a little bit more like you in any way?
Are they more like me in any way? More like me,
like there are certain traits where you definitely got it from you. Like for me, I am like at home, I can be quite messy.
Yeah.
Like some of the things I do, and some of the things like my wife will just be like, yeah, these are literally your
points.
I
play games. Sometimes there's certain things I just say, no, he's definitely got that from you. You know, your child's like moaning or something like, no, mum, why are you like your mum for? But no, there's definitely certain traits that they picked up, etc. from me. Probably my son is in like liking to sleep late and waking up late.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always
been
likes
that.
That's
kind of good. As at a young age, it's quite good.
Yeah.
Right, but then it might take away your time in the evening.
Exactly. But that's what's happened. Yeah. He's definitely a lot more cooperative starting school. You know, because he has to wake up for something now. So he's molding into a new routine. So which is good, you know, and he's very you know, he's got less like in terms of pushback in regards to bedtime now.
What was your reason for moving to Dubai?
Big one. I think.
Were you thinking about it for a long time, or is it something that?
I think it was always in the plan in my head. Yeah, in my head. I never really knew what Dubai, like what I heard of Dubai and what I came to meet was two different things. I heard a lot of a party. I got exposed to Dubai more of a having fun party-ish kind of thing. I never really looked at Dubai as a place to live until I actually came. So I knew they had quite a growing community, especially when it comes to fitness. But I believe that when I came here, I didn't actually feel like I was on holiday, which was weird.
You came on holiday?
I came on holiday and felt at home.
Really? What kind of things did you do when you came?
Just the usual Burj Khalifa, all these things. But weather is a key. Look, weather is very key for me. So that was the first thing, like, okay, let me go over here and see what it's like, etc. So came over here, weather and Korea. Those two things. And Dean also. So the religious culture was those three factors, and also the safety. But I didn't actually, you hear the safety, but you don't know what it's like until you actually come and feel what aspects safety is key in. You know, how does that affect? Like I was speaking to someone yesterday and they was talking about literally when they go back to the UK, just maybe, look, someone here, you may see like someone on an electric scooter dressed up and you may think like here, you may be traumatized. Like you've got some trauma that
you might get trauma. Yeah, from
you
London.
look at them and think, you know what, that looks weird, but really there is 99% chance this person is just dressed like that. In the UK, it's 99% chance they're coming for you, my guy. So you tuck up quickly, you know. So I think safety is the key. And then when moving over here, feeling like I felt calm, and I think the simple things you can actually get from Dubai.
Feel peace.
You know, just the peace. And I think we spoke earlier about how much people are willing to help. You know, I mean, being a people's person, like I spoke about, and people having the will to help and open doors with open arms without wanting anything back. I mean, it opens many doors. Yeah. You know, and Dubai is a place where doors can open.
Everything is possible.
Everything is possible. So having that here, especially having people who always want more for themselves, having my kids exposed to that is going to be priceless. You know,
I was talking earlier today about Dubai and how there's so much possibility.
Mhm.
I think one of the biggest things that I want to teach my kids is that you can be anything you want to be, but you can't be everything you want to be.
Right.
And this is something I learned a bit later on in life, where focus. If I try to do everything,
Mhm.
then I'm not going to really achieve much. But if I focus on these are the things I want to achieve now, have a singular focus, maybe 2-3 things I want to do, and just go at it.
There is a saying, it's called a master, a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you gotta try and narrow down, because a lot of people sometimes nowadays are like, you've got to get multiple sources of income, etc., like that. But what they don't understand is the multiple streams of income came as a sequence, because they done this, which led to that. Which they didn't all of a sudden start playing octopus and start throwing their hands in all pies. I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but I'm saying, if, like you said, the focus element is key.
Yeah, you got to put
With a lot
energy
of
in.
things.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
whether, I mean, reading, etc., and especially with social media, with the swipe culture that we have now, with kids, it's more
Well,
important.
what's your view on technology and children?
Look, again, that support network, if you don't have it as a parent, sometimes you need that time to do the dishes.
Yeah.
You may need that time just to get dressed, or something so small when your kids are so young. Sometimes
You need time. Yeah.
might mean Gecko's garage needs to be on. You know what I mean? So, and look, you need to be mindful as a parent, the content
Yeah.
of what you're exposing them to. There's a lot of, let's say, children's programs which you do need to be mindful about the ethics and the values that are subconsciously or subliminally being exposing them to. And there are some educational ones too. So, I mean, you need to make sure you do your research.
No, I resonate with that. I think that especially when you talk about support network, if you don't have that, you need to find pockets of time somehow.
100%.
And I think it's easy for people to say that, look, technology. And I truly do believe that as much as possible, I need to try to get the kids away from
The screens.
as much as I can. But also there needs to be some limit. By that, what I mean, exposure. Because I think that, look, growing up in this culture, they need to know how to use a computer and screens, etc., appropriately. But there'll also be times where, look, the way your life is, you just don't have an option. And I think that we need to, like you said, compromise. There needs to be a compromise. But it's just, sometimes I felt like, oh, you know what, I just want to chill now. Let me just give him the screen. Whereas I've got nothing to do.
Likewise.
But here's the screen.
Likewise.
And I felt like now I'm being more, especially
Conscious.
when I'm older. Now I'm older. And I've been telling Issa that a lot now. So stop using social media, especially some of the things sometimes there's no benefit that he's watching. Like, let's give you an example, like Mr. Beast does all these crazy challenges. I was like, what are you getting from this? And I've said to him, and somehow, I don't know how it stuck. I said, you're frying your brain. Now he's flipped that on me, because sometimes I'm just like sitting and I've got social media on and I'm doing this. Dad, you're frying your brain. And I'm like, you know, as soon as he says that, I'm like, you know what?
Done.
That's it. I'm done. I'm putting it away, because it's true. It's 100% true. But also, going back to what we said, is like, actions speak louder than words.
For sure.
If I'm saying one thing and doing another thing, then
You got to lead by example.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
The extracurricular activities, I think, can minimize. I mean, it can allow them to not only learn, but it can exhaust them. So they haven't really got that extra energy that they naturally store as children to spend on screens.
As an expert in the health and industry space, like, how are you going to use, because the kid's a bit older, using that knowledge to impact their childhood? So let's say they're 4 right now. So when the kids are older, do you have things in mind when it comes to the things they're eating, the activities that they'll be doing, etc.? What recommendations would you give parents?
Get them in everything. Expose them to as much as possible. And when they don't like it, accept it. If they don't like it, there's plenty of things. The main thing is they have to find something. It doesn't really matter what it is, because what they're going to take from it is going to help them in things later on in life. So, I mean, the discipline, like you said, the focus, the social, you know, these things they're going to learn from sports, being competitive. You need them to have this edge, you know. And again, it's a good social for parents as well. You meet other parents as well. So
They're on the same page.
100%. And being active, it's going to have, look, there's so many people that I meet in health spaces, in the gyms. They're literally just walking into the gym for the first time at this. Look, better late than never. But some people, you see them in the gym, they just take 2 dumbbells and go to the corner because of lack of confidence. You know, confidence is a key thing and it's a big thing. So, I mean, being active from young, you're only going to grow in confidence, you know.
Because this is the danger, I think, especially in Asian communities, what happens is that we tend to be very skinny when you're younger.
Right.
And then as you get older, and then you're like, you know, I've eaten what I want whenever I want and I'm skinny.
And now, the family is very key. So you're going to eat, you're going to enjoy, and the food's good.
Yeah. But then you have that same diet and you've never trained before. Then when you get to 30, you start realize, actually, I'm not changing anything about my lifestyle, but I'm gaining weight now. And then sometimes it's difficult to get into that habit. There's a new trend, not trend, but I was listening to a podcast about skinny fat. So outwardly, you look very skinny. You look good, nothing wrong, even though I've never trained a day in my life and I've eaten unhealthy. Do you find that you come across clients that are like that, where internally their body's just wrecked, but outwardly there's no issue?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, what you're usually like exposed to growing up is what you carry, especially culturally as well. And when you're spending a lot of time at work, sometimes people go for convenience. I mean, thankfully now we are in an age where people have a lot of, let's say, meal prep, a lot of options, healthy options, apps, etc.
Would you recommend that?
Would I?
If you've got the budget for it?
100%. You know, convenience is going to be key. Consistency is going to be key. And whatever habits you can hold on to. I mean, a lot of people start, look, New Year's resolutions, you're going to hear
New Year, new me.
Oh, New Year, new me. But it's 2025. It sounds so like futuristic now. You can't be doing a New Year, new me now. It's a great opportunity to start if you haven't done, but you need to also be kind to yourself. And I think some people sometimes they let go of habits and journeys and promises to themselves because they're too harsh on themselves. You know, you have to take small steps. I always say to people when they're about to start their fitness journey, I look and I brainstorm with them their current life as much as possible. So I can help them with small little things to make small little changes that they didn't tick and think, you know what, light bulb moment, I could just do this small thing. Look, we have many wearables that do steps, etc. But don't be too rigid on yourself. Just make small steps and slowly, then you, look, only make 2 changes for this year. Fine, no problem. If you can do that for 8-9 months of the year, very good. Then next year you can build on that. So it's just about small practices that you can do. But when it comes to eating, I think definitely there are a lot more healthier options now.
So for the kids, as they're getting a bit older now, what kind of things what are you pushing them towards?
Fruits. Fruits, water. I mean, you haven't got to be so pushy also as well. Just kind of keep them away from too much unnatural sugars. You have to do more home cooking also as well. You know, because the processed food and stuff outside, I mean, that's where it can go wrong. And look, the main thing is keep them active. Keep them active.
Would you ever stop them from eating? So I'll give you an example. My 4-year-old, this guy's always hungry. Like, always like ready to eat. Like, do you have this? And he'll eat like healthy food, fruits, whatever's his mom's made, he's ready to eat. He'll eat a full plate or 2 of that, then he'll eat fruit. This guy's still hungry. At a young age, I'm worried, like, if he's hungry, shall I just make sure he's eating? Or is there a point where I say, you know what, that's enough now?
I think definitely make sure he's hydrated.
Yeah.
You know, because water helps. You know, as you eat.
I think that's an issue. I don't think he drinks as much water as he should.
I think that would be the first place I think I'd probably start with. But there's no need to stop him eating because their metabolism, of course, younger is going to be a lot faster. Unless you see other signs, sleep is changing, mood's changing. But don't stop.
I think he's just a growing boy because his sleep's fine, mood's fine. He's just hungry.
Let him eat. let him eat. Let him eat and keep him active. Let him eat, keep him active. Burn that energy. Don't you have to store it. Burn it. No problem. Fine. Yeah, I think it's fine with
That's
kids.
the way. Yeah,
that's the way.
Do you find that like one of the biggest moments for me was that when I had kids, that actually opened my eyes to thinking about, okay, look at my health. Because I know now whatever they see me do, they'll be doing the same.
100%.
And that was the biggest thing for me.
100%.
Like Issa's gonna see it. Because I'm a big believer in paradigms. Like whatever paradigm my child grows up in, he's gonna think that's normal.
Exactly.
So if he sees me every day working out, so or dad's going 45 minutes to the gym, he's going football, whatever, every day there's something that I'm doing physical. If he sees me doing that, then the likelihood is that when he gets older, he'll think that's normal and that's what's expected of him as well. Or he is eating, I don't know, I do meal preps for oats and whatever it is. And that was the biggest reason for me. Like for me, I didn't work out or get healthier for my own sake. I did that for the sake of my kids because I want them to make sure that they're looking at the right things, right? Do you find that do you see clients that are similar? Is that what pushes them?
You know what happened when I first moved to Dubai, and a lot of people would tell you can move to Dubai and put on weight very quickly. When you have a change to any sort of routine, especially when it comes to training, sometimes even just traveling, you can get thrown off your gym routine, let's call it. So my training reduced, my eating habits also were a bit unstable.
Is that when you had a kid?
When I first moved to Dubai.
Okay, yeah.
So what happened to me was I went back to the UK. And when I came back to Dubai, I said to myself, I really need to rethink about what I'm doing as a health professional again. Like I need to get switched on back again.
Yeah.
And the impact it had, I cannot kid you how much it changed my business. Not changed, but really impacted it in a positive way. And just get so many people coming up to you, look, I'm not a big head. Like I try and stay humble, but it really helped. And I want to be like you, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, to be honest, look, imagine how my kids see that. You know, I mean, you have to really be mindful about, what you're exposing. Like you are the walking role model in the house. Involuntary.
I'll be honest, my kids gas me up a lot.
Yeah. You're the hero.
I'm just chilling at home.
You're the superhero.
Papa, why are you so strong?
Yeah.
You know it. Man.
Yeah.
And I'm just in my mind, I'm like, just calm down.
Yeah.
You know, that's right.
Yeah.
Why are you so strong?
Yeah.
But he can see that there's something going on here. He's doing something. And then I just tried to flip it on, do you want to be like me? Or then we need to eat healthy, or we need to go do some sports or something like that. So like you said with Issa, like where we moved to somewhere new. Underneath the building, literally on the ground floor, there's shops. There's a jiu-jitsu place. It's called Alpha something. It looks good. We're inside. It looks amazing. So I'm going to sign up with jiu-jitsu. I'm going to do it twice a week.
I strongly encourage you to.
Yeah. That's what we'll be doing. And then he does football already. And I think that what I liked about football was he's a very sore loser. Before he started, it's 2 years in now. Initially, it's just like always after football, he's complaining, someone tackled me. Or now I've realized like his whole attitude's changed.
He's enjoying it.
He's enjoying it a lot. Initially, he didn't like it. The first couple of months, I said, look, you're doing it for 6 months. Because I paid for 6 months.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. But then after that, if you want to try something else, we'll try something else. After 6 months, he's like, no, he's ready. He looks forward to it every single week. But I think the skills that he's learned from there, like he doesn't mind, I lost today, but I did this well. But what I try to do on the way home is, okay, what could you have done better today? What could you have done? What did you do well? That kind of thing. And I think he's reflecting a bit more.
Fantastic.
Last 5 minutes. If you met someone let's say, what advice would you give to new parents? Holistically, what things do you think that they need to hear the most of?
Yeah, I really think parents need to be mindful about the environment, the exposure, the environment.
What do you mean by environment?
You're going to spend a lot of time at home with your parents, but you're going to spend a lot of time out of the home. You know, as you grow older. So it's like those environments you expose your children to, you have to really be mindful about what you want them to absorb.
Do you mean friends that they're around? Yeah.
Both friends and the kind of parents, the friends, the parents of the friends.
Yeah.
You know, and the teachers. Yeah.
Teachers is a big one.
Yeah. 100%. Because look, I had a good friend of mine from his sister doesn't live in the country. Yeah,
Okay.
they came back to the UK, and she thought they could start school again. They didn't last 2 months. The stories the kids came back was unheard of.
What do you mean? Like they didn't last 2 months? What happened?
Okay, cool. They're from Pakistan,
Yeah,
and life over there is different.
of course. Yeah.
So coming back to the UK, where mum is originally from, listen, it's fine. But the culture and things, the contrast, really had a quick shift on the kids. Daughters coming home now saying, "Oh, my friend's got a boyfriend," and do you understand?
Okay. Yeah. They're not ready.
So there's that. I can't home in enough on extracurricular activities.
You love extra. Do you have like a company or something?
Look, honestly, look, no, because it helped me so much.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
yeah.
and again, like when you spoke about the life skills in your son and jiu-jitsu, etc. I mean, look, one of my clients has a jiu-jitsu school.
Okay.
So, I mean, we really talk a lot about how it impacts kids, and it's giving back.
But the thing is, what I've realized is that people that have like jiu-jitsu schools, they need to make parents more aware of the benefits. It's a low-hanging fruit.
Yep.
And then I watched a few videos here and there, and it's like jiu-jitsu is this, and this expert's talking about how it's going to benefit my child. And after that, I was like, you know what? Why not? 6 months, let's try it, see what happens. And I think the biggest, think about it. We're in an age of AI technology. What's going to ensure success of our children is the soft skills that they have.
Correct.
Confidence, resilience, being able to communicate, talk. The things that you've been talking about today, that's important. And one of the best ways for them to learn that is through social sports.
Correct.
And resilience as well is the jiu-jitsu, man. He needs to know how to take a punch. And
exactly.
He needs to know
and in business, you need to know how to take a punch.
Yeah.
In life, you need to know how to take a punch, not through physical, but being knocked down, not succeeding, not getting the job. Do you understand? How do you take rejection? A lot of people are successful because of the way they handle the things, what happened to them. Not what happened to them, but how they responded to that. So,
I was talking to Issa today, just yesterday we went somewhere. And, we walked past the shop. It was Dyson, like a Hoover shop. And it just reminded me of the story of Dyson. So I read his biography, and and we were just talking about, at that time, they were making like Hoovers. And the reason what he wanted to do was, instead of using a bag, because there's so many disadvantages, the main being you have to you have to keep buying bags. And what he wanted to do was make a paperless vacuum. And he said he tried nearly 1,000 ways to make that device. He said more than 1,000. I said, sit down now. I was just talking to him and think about 1,000 doesn't mean it happens like that. You're spending weeks on something, it doesn't work. You're trying something else now. 1,000, he was in debt, family trouble. He was going through everything. So would I or you have had the courage to try something 1,000 times? In today's world, and I said to him, maybe even once or twice. Exactly. Sometimes people try once and you know what, forget it. I'm not trying it anymore.
It's this swipe thing.
Yeah.
So I said the technology in kids, when you mentioned it before, you have to try and limit that. You know, don't alienate them to it. Give them a time. Give them 15 minutes in the morning, like early in the day, or maximum 30 minutes in the day, or just limit it and kind of just monitor it. Another one, Usain Bolt, trained 4 years to run 9 seconds. 4 years, 9 seconds. 4 years, trained 4 years to run 9 seconds. So it's like that resilience that you get from sport. It's transferable.
We don't see the work that goes behind the scenes.
No.
I think today, the kids, when they see, and even us, we'll see something on TV and think, wow, I want to be like this guy. But you want to be him there, but you don't want to do the work behind the scenes. And that's the problem. And I think that's the things that we need to work as fathers.
As parents,
we need to show them what's behind the curtain.
Exactly.
Because you'll see 9 seconds, but you don't see the 4 years.
No, for sure.
And I think 100%. That's the things that we need to work on.
100%.
Jermaine, thank you so much for coming today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And inshallah, I'm looking forward to having you on as well. But thank you very much for your presence. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.